Today's strategy can help your child get better at managing their intense feelings, improve their cooperation. It'll boost the 5-to-1 ratio, and it can make the overall home environment feel calm more of the time. The tool I'll be teaching you is strategic praise. Now, everybody knows about praise, but there are things that you can do to make your praise more powerful. Some behaviors arise from differences in brain development, like symptoms of ADHD, symptoms of OCD, autism, and tics. But all behaviors, even those that are neurobiological, can be increased and decreased based on how you use your attention. There's a basic behavioral principle which says that any behavior that is followed by attention is more likely to occur again in the future. For example, if you do a favor for a friend and the friend says, "Thank you so much, I really appreciate that," you're going to be more likely to do a favor for that friend again in the future. You can accidentally encourage negative behaviors by giving them attention. For example, hey, why did you do that? What do you mean you didn't know? We've talked about this before. No. By saying all those words, you'd actually be reinforcing a negative behavior. But today, what I want to do is focus on how to use your positive attention in the form of praise to encourage more positive behaviors. There's a number of ways that you can be strategic about your use of praise. One way to use praise as a tool to change behavior is to praise your child every time he follows through on a request or an instruction that you give him. If you do that regularly over a period of a couple months, he'll get better at following your instructions. There are some things that you can keep in mind to make your praise more effective. See if you can figure out what's wrong with this scenario. If you're trying to teach a dog to sit, and you say sit, and the dog's butt touches the floor, so you walk into the kitchen, open the pantry, look around, find the dog treats, take one out, shut the pantry, walk back, and give it to the dog. If you're familiar with dog training, you probably know that the treat needs to be given immediately as soon as the dog sits. Otherwise, the dog won't associate the treat with sitting. Praise works the same way. It works best when it comes quickly. So you want to praise your child as soon as he's following your direction or doing anything that you want him to keep doing more of. Some parents save up their praise, and at bedtime they tell the child all the things the kid did well that day that they're proud of. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a bit like giving a dog treats randomly throughout the day. They'll like it, but it won't affect their behavior. So it's much better if you can give the praise right away. To help make praise immediate, when you ask your child to do something, go into the same room that your child is in. Even better, get his eye contact first. This is especially important so that you know that he's actually paying attention to what you're saying. Then, after you've made your request, stick around and pay attention to whether or not he's doing what you've asked him to do. And if he is, you can give him immediate praise. You're probably wondering what to do if he doesn't do what you ask him to do. This will be covered in a different lesson. And if you're thinking about skipping ahead to that lesson, don't. Those strategies won't work until you've got these ones down first. So let's say your daughter's in her room, so you go in, get her eye contact, and then ask her to put her socks on. As soon as she starts walking towards her dresser, you can say, "Thank you for doing that right away." And this way you're giving immediate praise. But if you shout up to her room, "Put your socks on!" and then she comes downstairs a couple minutes later wearing her socks, you can say thank you for getting your socks on, but the praise is delayed. It's like walking into the kitchen, opening the pantry, finding the dog treats. It's not going to have nearly as much of an effect as if you were right there to praise her immediately. So whenever possible, stick around when you give an instruction so that you can watch, and as soon as your child starts to comply, give immediate praise. Praise also works better when it's labeled, meaning that it names the specific behavior you want to see more of. There's two types of praise. There's unlabeled praise and labeled praise. Unlabeled praise would be saying things like, great job, or that's awesome, or thank you. Labeled praise is being more specific, like, great job staying seated. You want to have more of your praise be labeled praise. It's important to be thoughtful about what behavior it is that you want to see increase and praise that. For example, if you say, please put away your backpack, and your child does, and you say, thank you for putting away your backpack, the behavior that will be more likely to occur again in the future is putting away his backpack. And if he's always leaving his backpack on the floor in the living room, that's probably what you want to praise. Same situation, please put away your backpack, and he does, but this time you say, thank you for doing that the first time I asked. Now, the behavior that will be more likely to occur again in the future is doing things the first time you ask. So depending on how you word your praise, you can differently affect future behavior. If you phrase your praise the first way, your child will be more likely to put away their backpack in the future. And if you phrase it the second way, the child will be more likely to follow instructions first time asked. There isn't a right or wrong answer, you just want to be thoughtful about what behavior it is you're trying to increase. Let's practice. Let's say you want your child to take more initiative, and he's just cleared his plate from the table without you having to ask. What could you say to let him know that it's the initiative taking that's most impressive to you? You might say something like, thanks for clearing your plate without me having to ask. If you just say, thanks for clearing your plate, your child will be more likely to clear their plate again in the future. But if you want them to do things without having to be asked, you need to make sure you include that phrase in your praise. Okay, let's do a quick recap. It's important to give praise immediately. Before you tell your child to do something, make sure to get their eye contact. Focus on giving labeled praise. Your labeled praise should name the specific behavior that you're targeting to increase. You've got a few more things to learn before your first assignment, so see you in the next video, Praise Part 2.